Okay, continuing on in my Testimonies little series. When I left last time, I was just arrested in the 8th grade in the classroom, second time around on the 8th grade, and headed to the Kansas City Detention Center as incorrigible, as she couldn't control me and I was doing things, cussing and yelling and carrying on whenever I didn't get my way at the house. So down I went. They search you, take you down naked, get your little thing on, you get done. It's not a good place to be. There was about 20 guys in there, young, all juveniles, and then you know the jail attendant, if you will. I forget what they used to call them, but anyways, uh, there was a special name for them because they were dealing with juveniles. But there was one bathtub in the middle of one of the rooms, and everybody had to bathe, of course, in front of everybody else, which was pretty bizarre. And then we got, if you got out of the line at the meal table, then this guardian would would give you swats and so on. So I was in there, I don't know, I can't remember. I'm thinking more than a week, I'm thinking 10 days. This counselor would come and interview me once or twice down there. And then we had a final counseling. And the bottom line was this: me and some of the guys had already planned to escape. The next day, we had sheets. We had a way to get that window open. There was a screen on it, but we were like, I don't know, 3 or 4 floors up. I don't know if we'd have died or made it. But we had the sheets and we had the way to get the window open. Well, the following morning of the day that we were going to do our deal, before we were going to do it that night, and the counselor guy calls me in, and this is okay. Listen, your mother's, her age, and you, fatherless, and all the things you're going through. She's just really stressed out, and that makes it very hard for you to have a right relationship. And you're doing stupid things, and so on. Anyway, she's agreed to take you back home. So I got released instead of trying to go out the window with the sheets that night and maybe fall to our death. Um, to me, that's all God. Hey, the very day that we were going to do it. Anyways, uh, then there was a time, so I got out and went back home and continued on my path and started to smoke pot. It was a new thing, and I was 16 and getting into the wrong crowd. Somehow I gained some money. I had a little petty job at a service station or something, and I bought a '64 SS Black and Powell two-door hardtop for $400. So I'm smoking pot and whatnot, and somehow my mother convinced me to go to church. So I go to church, uh, and it's um, I'm high. I'm all stoned up from smoking pot, and I'll go in there. I sit down, and they're singing a few hymns, and I get up and I'm just singing and carrying on and all that. And the next thing I know, I'm out, knocked. And I was young, strong, and shapen. I didn't OD from pot. Lord knocked me out cold. All I remember is getting to the doors, coming out, and 4 men, one on each leg, one on each arm, taking me outside and setting me on the stairs. And a man named Gerald Henning, I remember, was there attending, visiting. And they had, back in that day, he said, hey, what's going on? What are you doing? I told him I smoke pot, whatnot. He said, well, I guess the Lord just didn't want you in there under such conditions. But anyways, they had what they called a witnessing weekend. And on these witnessing weekends, I really think all churches should do this. They would send 4 or 5 families to another uh, church with like 4 weeks, of course. And then they'd send 4 or 5 families back up here, and you'd stay with 4 or 5 families on each end that you didn't know. Well, it just so happens I was with the Buds at one time when the Hennings came back up following, stayed with the Buds, and there I was. So we got to know each other and introduced and talked to me a little bit. But we went to a potluck at Stone Church in Independence, big potluck, everybody was there. And I was sitting out on the parking lot smoking a cigarette. And I sat down the curb, and Gerald Henning, who I'd barely known, uh, except for this weekend thing, and this was part of the weekend. It was Sunday before they were supposed to go home, and he came and sat down and talked with me. But prior to that, we have to mention another part of the story. I had in my black car needed some money, and I was hanging with these other two juvenile delinquents, and they said, "Well, let's just snatch some purses off of these women. We'll just go by and grab them." I said, "Well, now something didn't sit right with me when my mother raised me right. She raised me biblically, and I knew what right and wrong was. Thank God for that, which is a testimony in and of itself. A lot of people don't even have that. And so we pull up, we see this lady walking down the street, and her purse hanging on her arm. And so this one guy gets out and runs by her, hooks on the purse, but it just doesn't come off. So they spin in a circle, and she falls down, and my stomach turned. Believe it or not, it turned my stomach. And he didn't get the purse. She's, hollering out. I said, "Man, that ain't right. We can't be doing that." And we speed off and go away. I said, "Well, there's got to be a better way." And so I said, "Let's take this curtain rod and we'll stick it out the window and bend it around like we like and just hook it off their arm." So we, like an idiot, we had smoked up some pot. We went to Walmart out on 40 Highway in Independence, and here's a lady walking in to the store, and the guy I'm driving, the guy sticks his curtain rod out, scoops that purse right off her arm, never touched her, and she's going, "Thief, thief, thief." Well, we're all busting up laughing, stoned, of course. And I turn and go right through the front of Walmart and back around. Everybody in the place gets our license number. And so we got $63 out of that deal. And so they come that night at 2 a.m. in the morning and say, "Is it Miles Clark?" "Yep, here, yep." And they arrest me. Charged me with strong arm robbery. And I had a court date in 30 days from then. So now we get back to the curbside smoking a cigarette where Gerald Henning came down. Said, "Hey, how's it going? What's up?" And I said, "Well, I got a court date here next week at that time for strong arm robbery." And I told him the story that I just told you. And so we went in, we ate dinner and whatnot. And, I think I went back home this for a day. They were still on that weekend deal with the Buds. The bottom line is Gerald Henning came back, and we'll continue that on the next episode. Good day.